Hey everyone, it's Rachel here from Backyard Blossoms, here with another video. Today's video is all about starting the strawflower seed, so stay tuned. Okay, so before starting this project, I did buy Lisa Mason Ziegler's book called Cool Flowers, and she has a page here all about the strawflower, and it just gives you tips for easy success, how to grow them, how she grows them, when to plant them. It's just full of information, and I'm definitely loving this book. If you haven't got the book, I definitely recommend giving it a look. You won't regret it at all. She also has a really good recipe in here for soil blocking, which is what we're going to be using today. The only thing different that I added into it was a little bit of cinnamon, and then I added in the mycorrhizae fungi. If you want to see how I make my soil blocking mix, then head over to my page and look at the soil blocking video that I have. I'll try to link it down below for you to just easily click on it and not have to dig and search. But let's go ahead and start making our soil blocks. Okay, so the reason I am starting strawflowers as one of my very first seedlings is because it is what's considered a hardy annual. And what that means is it can tolerate some colder temperatures. Now, it is not one of those plants that can tolerate days and days of a really hard frost. It doesn't do too well with that. But with hardy annuals, they actually end up being more robust plants because they have been subjected to the cooler temperatures. So I did not do any hardy annuals last year. And so this year I've done a lot of research and trying to figure out how to make the best plants for my cut flowers and how can I get the most yield out of something. And so from my research on strawflowers, they can tolerate just a light frost. They can tolerate those cooler temperatures, not the hard freezing, but they will actually perform a little better if they are subjected to those colder temperatures. Now, some things you may need to do when you are planting them is definitely have your planting area ready to go. And when you can get out there and plant them, they could probably tolerate a little bit more of a frost up to 8 to 10 weeks before your last frost date, meaning you could put them out in the ground and they could tolerate things even before your planting date. So that is what I'm going to try to do this season. And then also you want to just make sure that you do have a row cover of some kind so that if you would get a really hard frost or something that might damage them, you could give them a little extra protection. So I actually went to my hardware store and I got myself a row cover and a frost cloth, so that when I'm planting these things outside in a few weeks, that they will be semi-protected. So I should have just started out by saying I did not grow these last year, and I don't feel very much like a flower farmer for not starting strawflowers of all things. But you know, you live and learn and you move on. This year I made for sure to add that to my order. So I have 2 packets from Johnny's. And then I found one that was from just the hardware store. So we're gonna start out with just a mix of the tall doubles. And then we're going to do strawflowers called Silvery Rose. And then I have a Soul Stain mix, something like that. So we're gonna do all of those together. And I've decided to start with soil blocking. I am really impressed with how they are holding up in the trays. And I'm just really loving it. I can see that the flowers and, well, I can see that the plants are really thriving pretty well. I love how it's easily taking water in and it holds together. It's so easy to manage the plants, much more easier for me to manage them than when I was using the 72 cell trays. So until I have something that needs more space, I'm probably just gonna stick with the soil blocks and see how it goes. Definitely impressed with that experiment for this season. May not ever go back to something else. I don't know, we'll see. But let's go ahead and get into making our soil block and starting that whole process. And I almost forgot to tell you another thing that I want to do with this type of flower is straw flowers. They are kind of like that crispy texture, and they lend themselves very well to drying. And I didn't dry any flowers last year. This year, I'm definitely wanting to keep some back and try to dry some, because it would be so fun to give my friends or family a dried flower bouquet. And so straw flower is definitely one of those things on my list to dry, and that is another reason why I'm growing it this season. Okay, so all of our soil blocks are done, and before we put any seeds in there, we want to make sure and label each section so that we know what plants are in what area before we put any seeds in there at all. And then we also want to make sure that when we are putting seeds in, that we do not cover them with soil. Don't press them down all the way where there's darkness, because these seeds do need light to germinate. So I'm barely going to be putting them in the surface of the soil, and then I'm going to put them under lights and let them start sprouting. Well, everyone, our project is finally done, and I am so proud of what we have accomplished today. The only thing left that we need to do is we will need to spritz them with water, put them under the grow light with a dome or with some plastic wrap over the top. We'll let them do their thing for a few days, check on them later in a few days, see what's growing, and I'll keep you posted on how they do, what's growing downstairs in the grow area. And I just want to say thank you for watching. If you have really enjoyed the video, I would love for you to give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you are growing in your garden this season, and I will catch you next time. Have a wonderful day.